Hi class, welcome to part 4 of the introductory video series for EMDD 101, the digital world. This is the last video that I'm going to make, and in this video I just want to talk about some of the amazing capabilities of digital media that make digital media a specific area of interest above and beyond, separate from other forms of media like print media or word of mouth media. So what can digital media do? These are the things that we want to have in our mind as we go through this course. When we talk about digital media, these are its amazing capabilities that we can leverage when we're designing it and consuming it. The first is that we can store more of it, right? We're not limited by physical limitations when it comes to digital media. Because it's stored electronically, we can store huge amounts of it in very small spaces. We can store it on computers, in warehouses. So we're not limited by physical limitations like books in a library would be limited by those limitations. And because of that, we have a ton of it, right? This graphic probably needs to be updated because it is pre-COVID, so probably the numbers are a bit different since a lot of work is now happening online. But each day on the internet, people are creating and storing almost 70 million photos. 6 billion videos are being viewed online. We have 223 million emails being sent. These are every day, and this is possible because digital media is electronic and it doesn't have physical limitations to storage and sharing. We can access it more easily. In theory, anything that would be put online can be accessed by anyone else online. Now, of course, there's laws that might change this. There's limitations of services for our internet service providers might not allow us to access certain content. There are certain content distributors who might put paywalls on their content. But in theory, if you have an internet connection, you are able to access just about all this digital media that is also stored online. You can access digital media from pretty much anywhere. You don't have to be in the same physical location, so that changes our access to it. We can search it out. I know this is probably sounding, you're like, yes, I know we can do all this stuff with digital media, but it's a kind of thing that we really have to think about and think about how we can leverage it as we're designing digital media. When we make digital media, it helps to be aware that there's no physical limitations for how much of it we can make. It helps be aware that people can access it from anywhere, that people who speak another language might be accessing our digital media, that people can search for it, that anything we put online, we have to kind of think about, do we want people to be able to find it, and how are they going to find it? People can see relationships between it. Take a look at this visualizer of subreddits. So this visualizer looks at the posting that happens on Reddit, and it creates clusters of users and their activity in different subreddits. So if someone is, for the people who are active in, I can't spell, politics, in the politics subreddit, what other subreddits are they active in? We can understand how people are using this digital media. We can see trends. We can see relationships. We can see that there's a lot of cross-posting between the politics subreddit and the conspiracy subreddit, the politics subreddit and the news subreddit. Let's take a look at education. What's happening with education? People who are posting in these education subreddits are also posting in higher ed, teachers, English language teachers, history, math. So we can start to see relationships and patterns in digital media that are a lot harder to spot without the digitization of it. We can interact with it, right? This is a huge, huge piece of digital media. Digital media is two ways. Because things are digitized on the computer, we can interact with computers. So we can interact with that media rather than media being fixed. A book is pre-written. All of the elements of the story were written by the author, fixed into the book, it was printed, and it was sent to you. In digital media, you can interact with the story. The author can tell you piece by piece, and you can give feedback, or you can interact with it. You can actually change the story. It's a huge part of digital media and something we want to be aware of as designers of digital media, that it's a capability we can leverage to do some really interesting things with our digital media, and people can interact with each other. I just noticed the other day on Instagram that when you watch live videos, it now asks if you want to be a part of the live video. So if we are constantly, as digital media designers, thinking about all of these cool capabilities that digital opens up for us, then we can leverage them in examples like this. This is not something that you can do with fixed form mass print media. We can see how people are using our digital media. So this is a cool visualization of Wikipedia, specifically looking at article views of Beyonce's Wikipedia page, and we can see trends and we can see how people are using it, and we can make connections. We start to understand not just how our digital media is being used, but what that might say about the society around it and the trends of the people who are using it. And last but not least, we can make it ourselves, right? With print media, if you want to print a book, you can't just print a book. You can't just really, you gotta find a place to print it. You gotta find someone who has all of the materials and the know-how to figure out how to make that happen. You've got to do a lot of research and a lot of leveraging of other people's capabilities. With digital media, it's very easy for people to just make. I'm making this video with just my laptop and a free piece of software called Loom. And when I'm done, I'm going to hit the stop button. I'm going to download this from Loom, and I'm going to go put it on YouTube. And it's really just that easy. So digital media also means that people can start to participate more in our media. So rather than media being controlled by publishing houses, by newspaper publishers, by universities, everybody has the opportunity to use certain types of digital media, and people can contribute to it. It's no longer this sort of mass appeal sort of thing. We're going to look at this in weeks 10 through 12 when we look at the effects of digital media on society, this idea of what's called the long tail, that everybody can kind of participate in digital media, and because of that you see more representation of different ideas, different types of people, ways of thinking, different cultures online that maybe are harder to get representation in traditional forms of media because of all of the gatekeeping, because it is so difficult to go through the process of, getting a book physically published. Because you can just make digital media from home on your laptop and put it out onto the internet, you can write books and do things and have representation in various forms of media that wasn't possible before, was at least, difficult to achieve. So I know it sounds probably pretty basic to go over these various aspects of digital media that the digital and computerization of media opens up for us, but it's really important that we keep coming back to these, that when you design your final project, for example, you think about different ways you might play with these ideas. If you want to make a video, how could that video be interactive? How can that video be something other people can participate in or make parts of themselves? How can you look at the trends of how people are watching the video or how they're reacting to it? Leveraging these special aspects of digital media allows for us to really do some creative things and to see digital media and its audience in ways that are very difficult to do without the digital aspect of it.